That's going to be the big one, because if you allow him to just hit out, he's going to do tons of damage. So I do favor Among Us, but it's very close. I think the drafts are pretty competitive. It's going to be down to execution here, Mike, and it's going to be a really tight matchup here. It's going to the big test for Among Us, as a lot of people want to say.
For the record, by the way, John, because a lot of people are bringing it up in the chat. We don't. Do we know who Tony Stark is?
No.
Okay. No. Because I remember we were having some lobby issues, which is why we were slightly late to this game. So we didn't actually get to ask Tony Stark was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I know some people have been asking. I believe Larry was there, John. Good old Larry.
Oh,
yeah, he's in the chat asking if we could tell who Tony Stark is. We don't know. we'll try to find out in game number 2. But right now, we honestly don't know the answer to that question. What are they talking about, John?
No, they're
asking.
Yeah, they're like, who deleted me on friends list?
I am Iron Man. All right.
I believe that if he was playing, say, no, Clockwork. And Clockwork Core, Tony Stark, you gotta do it if you're actually Iron Man. I don't believe you. That doesn't look like Iron Man. That looks like a fursuit. It looks like a furry, Mike.
It does. Odds are up, John. Luke Bet, excuse me, saying that the odds are very even for this one. TnC, the very, very slight favorites. But we're talking 10 cents kind of slight. It's not a big deal here, so it's very, very even, according to Luke Bet. I would have to agree.
Yeah, and actually, you know, I want to go back to what we were talking for mid lane. It's the Armel Magnus coming out here, Mike. He is going to be on the mag. He's going to be laning up against that TA of Abed. That is a bit of an interesting prospect, right? The Magnus can play with Empower, shove waves out. I think if you play it with Shockwave on top of the Empower, you can clear out those waves a lot better, but Abed shouldn't struggle too hard. He's gonna have to wait for some levels in Sideblades to really be safe, but there are ways to dance around this, and that does mean, you know, on the offlane, you're gonna have the KP Void Spirit as well. So, an interesting swap out of heroes, and should be a much more active time with the offlane Void Spirit as well. You can see KP and Tims are already trying to find a way into the lanes, playing with that level 1 toss. It's not going to be easy, but if you force out those early use of time walks, it's a pretty long cooldown.
It is. I do like the mag mid over the Void Spirit mid, especially when you are up against the TA anyway. So you don't really want the Void Spirit mid up against that TA because you can't do anything. At least with the Magnus, you can push the wave out and go to the jungle. And I believe that will be the idea from Armel. Should work out a bit better here for TnC. Of course, looking up to that top lane, you'll see Tony Stark there with March, the Ursa Oracle, and they'll be up against Jabs on the Snapfire and Cuckoo, of course, on the Centaur. Should be a fairly decent lane for our Ursas. The Centaur can't do too much in the way of harassing out this Ursa in the safe lane.
No, but at the same time, the Centaur shouldn't be under too much pressure. It's going to be a fairly even farming lane. It's only down to how Jabs and March kind of harass each other out. I think that's where most of the action will be focused on. March, for his part, has been a lot more in the lane here. He's not going for those pulls. The wave has been shoved in. So that means our Tony Stark is finding some decent farm. But Cuckoo's not too far behind. And if you let Cuckoo have that steady build-up into the Piper Vanguard, we know that Cuckoo is just ready to go. He doesn't wait for much, just one little HP item, and he is ready to commit at that 10-minute mark.
By the way, should give a quick shout out to our American friends, John. Of course, we did switch over to BTS 1, so some of the NA fans that were watching, you know, NA will probably still be around. Hello and welcome. It's probably very late for you right now in the middle of the night. Hopefully you're enjoying some good SCA Dota.
Yeah, it's always a bit different, right? Like, Southeast Asia is always known for in-your-face Dota, and it's certainly going to shape up that way. TnC, Among Us, just slowly building up their farming leads. Looking at mid, Abed is falling a bit behind. Armel's starting to leverage that wave clear he has. Of course, there's a big wave here for Abed to take, and it sort of evens out from that. The power runes are going to be important. That's about 1 minute left, and you look up top. Not a good spot.
March does go down for that first blood. It's like Cuckoo did commit the hoof stomp, and I'm assuming it was a cookie into a hoof stomp and then the scatter blast out from Jabs. So a nice start here for Among Us. Cuckoo going to have a very nice start on that Centaur now, and that's going to be generally important, right, as the offlane Centaur. Getting that bonus gold early does make it so you can really get some more sustain out and feel much more comfortable in the lane.
Yeah, it's going to allow Cuckoo to build that slow farm, steady farm into his Vanguard or his Hood of Defiance, depending on what he feels like he needs. And then he's off to a running start. Tony Stark, he's starting to suffer a bit in that lane. Last hits aren't quite as high as you'd want them to be, especially compared to Savage. So our Ursa not finding as much space. March is going to make the movements down mid to refill the bottle, and then doesn't find the rune though. So Jabs has an invis, gonna sneak around here, might find an opportunity.
To get that cookie stun off first onto Stark. It's like Tony Stark is gonna back off for a bit, and March is gonna go for a small camp pull. Jabs will just soak the XP off March and probably steal a few creeps here. Nice little scatter blast. That creep wave is eventually just going to end up pushing out again towards Cuckoo now. They are going to be underneath the tower, and they are going to double up very, very soon. That just means Cuckoo's going to continue to have a great game. Nothing really there to stop him. But let's look at our mid matchup again. Abed versus Armel. Armel is leading in terms of CS right now, 34-10. Abed at 30-2. And the thing is with both these mid laners is they are both going to be revolving around the jungle and the mid lane. So you are going to find that their CS should be skyrocketing quite fast, quite soon.
Yeah, it's all about the stat camps, and both of them have easy access points. I believe it's slightly better for Abed, just dipping into his camp. A little nicer, but the triangle for Armel is highly efficient, and he can self-stack as needed. So that is something that Among Us has to be aware of and disciplined enough. They've got to ward that jungle up at some point. Same goes for TnC. You don't want either of these mid-cores to find that early farm. And you look at TnC, they are fairly deep in. Tims has a spare obs, but he's not dropping it anywhere. They're just making it hellish for Whitemon to get anything done.
Well, they got the 8th remnant lock, but KB not going to have the backup of Tims yet. Savage now going to try and go for a kill here onto KB, and of course he is only level 4 at the moment, so they might just be able to get it. Savage time walking forward. They'll glimpse KB back the other way, but that's going to give him a way to get out. Savage, he doesn't have time walk for another 10. Well, that glimpse, I don't think that was the idea, but mid lane. Armel also falling extremely low, but March will be there to help him out.
That's, these missed kill opportunities do hurt. You have to tighten up that coordination. Small mistakes like that, TnC is going to be very happy with getting away with. And you can see Armel double damage rune into his stacks.
Nice kill onto Tims there from Whitemon. Feeling good about that one on the Disruptor. Of course, would have loved to give it over to his carry, but couldn't really dive that T1 tower. And now Armel in that mid lane needs to run, but he doesn't want to because Abed is going to take these stacks away. Needs the posture around this camp, but he just can't afford to. I believe they might try and group up now and get onto Abed. March gonna circle around with the Fortune's End. Abed gonna hold out with the Refraction, but there's your Avalanche toss. Stampede will be out from Cuckoo. Armel will skewer forward, but doesn't have the RP available, so he can't lock Abed down, and he will be fine to run away. Still Tony Stark now. We'll go on to Jabs, and Jabs, he's gonna cookie up to the high ground into the neutrals, but Tims is gonna be there to toss him back into Tony Stark, and the Ursa will manage to pick up the kill.
Oh yeah, it's a lovely time for Tony Stark. Early rotation out, but they do manage to spot out the stack. They trade 2 stacks away for 1, and that's still a decent time. You can see Cuckoo just staring at them, soaking some EXP away to mitigate that gain. And overall, I think TnC happy enough. Not very pleased with losing the stacks for Armel, but you're getting some stuff here for Tony Stark. He's off to a pretty decent start on the Ursa. You're still looking for what he wants to build up first. Doesn't look like it might be the Battle Fury, so we'll see what he goes for. Maybe the SNY in this case, since he doesn't need the Empower anymore. I mean, he has the Empower.
It's true. Holding out for now. In terms of net worth, he is about 400 gold behind 23savage. So definitely just a little bit behind, but we haven't really counted that Empower yet. As Armel has been just focused on farming himself on this mag, and of course you want that Echo Saber and Blink Dagger up ASAP on these Magnuses. Armel is going to have that up in about 900 gold. He'll at least have the Echo Saber up and available, and that should make it that he actually has some damage to pump out here after that RP.
Yeah. Gonna help him accelerate his farm as well if they want to play that slower game. You're not seeing too much aggressive moves out from TnC. They do drag Tony Stark bot, so they've got 4 heroes here. They're trying to apply that pressure on that tier 1. Not seeing the same movement yet from Among Us, but I suppose if you just leave Cuckoo alone, he will melt towers as a Centaur when he gets hit, so they can get a solo push going top while maybe looking for a defense counter fight here on bot.
KP's thinking about it. He's going to run up with the Empower and spot out Savage. Wants to be a bit disruptive here and just not allow him to free farm, and Savage will just go ahead and TP up towards the top lane now. He doesn't want to waste his time down at this bot jungle any further. And of course the tier 1 towers will be traded off. TnC, they are set up very nicely to deal with this bottom tier 1, and of course the side of Among Us are going to focus down the top tier 1. But TnC do have time to defend this if they want. They would be fighting into a chrono, however, so it looks like they don't really want to waste their time. And instead, TnC are going to just collapse mid, it seems. Perhaps onto Jabs.
That would be a big tower to take as well if they relieve that pressure. And if you take that mid tier 1, that's going to make it much more difficult for Orbit to find farm and TA, so you don't want to give this objective away.
Gonna step in onto Jabs. Nice toss back there from Tims. Jabs gonna cookie away and should not make it out. He does go down, but Whiteman gets a glimpse back onto Tims. Only issue being is there is no one else there to capitalize off that glimpse. But TnC, it doesn't really seem like they have the capability to take that mid tower yet. They are still gonna posture with this siege creep and get some damage out, but it really should only be a bit of chip damage.
Yeah, even if you don't take the tower though, forcing the supports down that mid lane means that the side lanes are a bit safer to farm in. You don't have to worry about rotations to your Magnus, to your Ursa, so they're getting free space to build up. You've got the drums running now on Tony Stark. That will mean that, you know, as long as the Magnus is ready to go, you empower the Ursa, he can run down lanes, he can run down heroes. That's something Among Us has to be careful about.
Savage is looking at mid lane. He has that chrono and MOM up. He's going to loop around past the tier 1 tower, and he's going to spot out March. We'll go for the Oracle first. Arbet going to jump in with his own Blink Dagger, and that'll be March gone. Now KP getting caught out by Jabs, and there'll be your Chrono and the Mortimer's Kisses to fly out. And that's just a great rotation out from Among Us.
Yeah, all of a sudden that coil unwounds. They find themselves some 2 decent kills. You didn't find the Mag or the Ursa, which are the preferable ones, but you're building that snowball effect. Now Savage gets his first chrono used very well. They clear that mid tier 1 first, and suddenly that jungle gets a little bit trickier for TnC to maintain. You already have Cuckoo playing on the top camps. This means Tony Stark and Armel will have to look elsewhere to get that safe farm.
It's a real concern for Armel. He really desperately needs that jungle to be able to get the gold up for his Blink. It's the one of the reasons why the Magnus was so strong in the first place, is you could jump jungle so early with that Empower up. But he is going to be a bit more limited now, and well, matters are only getting worse for TnC as Cuckoo has farmed so freely that he has a Blink Dagger up on the Centaur. There goes Whitemon. Does go down to the Disruptor. They are going to try and get around Cuckoo and force out that Stampede, but Tims is just blocking the way and is ready now with the Avalanche Toss to go back in on the Centaur, and this should be a very easy kill out onto Cuckoo. KB with a double kill on the Void Spirit, but mid lane, Arbet going to chase down Armel for a bit. Will not go too much further. but just going to back off and try to get enough gold to finish off his Desolator.
Yeah, it's a good trade for TnC, just giving themselves some momentum back. 4-4, 1k lead for a moment, so it's not significant. TnC is still showing that they've got Bite left in their lineup, of course. They're still waiting for that blink. Armel's just about 400 gold off, though. So once you've got that, you are pretty much set to go. I love the build-up here on Tony Stark as well. Going into that Heaven's Halberd, the disarm is just going to be easier to pile on. So now you can disarm Savage and Abed at the same time with your Oracle and the Heaven's Halberd. These physical cores, if they're not careful, you're going to have a bad time.
Smoke up into the mid lane. Cuckoo wants to use that blink, but KP is going to be able to back off in time, and Abed tried to blink forward to get some vision for Cuckoo, but ultimately KP was already out of there. So instead, it looks like Among Us, they do want to start grouping up towards that top lane and maybe pressure that tier 2 tower. So you do have the Chrono coming back off cooldown in 10 seconds. But they do have to now deal with the Armel blink.
Top tower is under
For TnC, this might be the perfect time to get a big smoke going and defend that tier 2 tower with that blink dagger up.
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity. They're ready to go. This is the chance for Armel to make use of this second RP. I believe he used it once down mid. And this is the game changer. We see a lot of teams be patient like this, trade evenly, but with the blink, you know, the Magnus can set up opportunities here. And Among Us, they should be aware, but they are still staying clumped up.
Now, looking at Savage, does just commit the RP onto the Void, and they all just jump him straight away. Savage is blown up, and now it's on to Cuckoo. Stampede already committed, and it looks like everyone is going to be able to leave. But they got what they came for, TnC. You got the big target in the Void. You can just enjoy freely farming the map up now.
Yeah, they bought themselves some space out. They punished Savage for standing really far forward. He is taking the front line for his team, him and Cuckoo, because they are still waiting out for Abed to finish up his item. He's flying out the Dezo. So now the TA does have the Blink Desolator up. The timings are lining up for both teams, and there are chances for big 5v5s. There's a bit of pressure here on Savage to catch at least 2 in the Chrono. You have to watch out for March. You cannot allow March to be outside of Chrono now. He's got level 8. He's got that False Promise to save whoever gets caught out. And of course, he's got the Edict to disarm. So March has to be the priority in the Chrono catch-out. They are making a Roche play though.
Well, they know the RP's not up, so they're going to try and sneak the Roshan. RP's still 1 minute away. TnC, it looks like they have got a whiff of what's happening, but they can make it perhaps. No, KP doesn't jump in, and he's been caught out by the Static Storm of Whitemon. The nice pick up there for Among Us. KP, he was trying to get vision with the Aether Remnant, but just a second too late.
Yeah, punished for that move forward, bringing us to a drawn kill board, 5-5, 1k lead for Among Us still. They have the Chrono, RP still half a minute though.
Tim's trying to blow up Whitemon, but now he might pay for it. He's being controlled in that kinetic field, and he's going to be stunned up, but March will be there to try and save. But Abed now going to take his life away instead, and it looks like Tim's might die anyway. But Stark's going to jump in, try and help out his support. Tim's will survive for now. He'll make a run for it. They're back onto Tony Stark, but here comes Armel. He has RP in 5 seconds. He just needs a bit of time. KB buying that time for him. Still waiting. Armel going back in after Cuckoo. Will take down the Centaur, but now the Chrono is out from Savage. They could not get the RP in time, and Savage will turn this team fight back around for Among Us. Now going on to Tony Stark with the cookie. He's not going to be able to reach, and Tony will be fine to walk out. But Among Us are going to be very, very happy with that trade. It's a 2 for 4.
Oh yeah, excellent win for Among Us. Great use of a Chrono, and TnC, they're forced to react one by one. So at first it's the 2 supports, and then your cores come in. You need to engage as a team. You can't afford to stagger it out. The bright side here for TnC is that they've got Chrono, they've got RP while the Chrono is down. So it's now TnC's turn perhaps to look for some aggressive plays forward.
Tim's trying, gets the avalanche toss onto Whitemon again. Static Storm going to be dropped. Tim's, he couldn't finish off the kill yet. March is trying to help him out. They will cookie. Savage, or rather, the Ursa. Stark is going to be in trouble. Savage still chasing him down. The Enrage is going to buy time, but Arbed is there and should be able to wipe him out. Tony Stark still on the run. They miss a hit. Armel, he's got the RP, he's waiting for the right moment, and he will commit an ult to two heroes and Stark. He'll turn back around now with some damage out. A great skewer from Armel back into the tier 2 tower, and with the avalanche now from Tims, they can fight back. They'll get the Aegis onto Arbed, and they'll also kill Cuckoo. But Jabs jumping back in now with the cookie, but Armel has got too much damage and too much control. They'll get rid of Jabs, but Arbed still wants to fight. It's not going to be enough, he will drop. And so does Savage. The only person to survive was Whitemon. He'll get an Invis Rune and make a run for it, but KB and Tims wanted to keep the chase up, but they do not have detection.
That's a wonderful win there for TnC, and you can see the focus of both teams to play around those timers. You know when the chrono is down and you've got RP, you've got the advantage. Now, both spells are down, they're still going to look for the defense. Can't give this tier 1.
Cuckoo, avalanche toss out, KB jumping straight in with the Aether in it to latch on, and now Armel just going to skewer Cuckoo away. He does get the Stampede off in time, and he will not make it out. Tims throwing the tree, and that was just barely enough damage to secure the kill. And with that, they will finally get that tier 1 mid.
It evens out the map control for TnC. They're still playing really far forward. Have to be a bit cautious. Chrono is going to be up for Savage, and it looks like Among Us, they want to maximize it. They're ready to go. No smokes out though, but they're going to look for an opportunity. TnC, you have to space out March carefully. He's going to be key in breaking up that chronosphere here.
Tims, just in the Radiant jungle. They do spot him out now. Tims, he's got the memo. He goes for a run, links onto the high ground, and they will not be able to stop him from TPing. Nice quick play out from our Tiny. Of course, while that was happening, 23savage did get the MKB up and does also have Chrono up, so they want to go for a big smoke. Do scan out March. Tony Stark right behind him. Savage won't be able to get the Ursa, but he might be able to get 2 more. They'll jump March with the Static Storm. Tony, he's posturing around Savage. And Savage is jumping back in. Commits the Chrono now to Tony Stark with the kisses to fly out, and that might just be your Ursa gone. March, he bought back. A glimpse back onto Tims now. They'll go after Tiny. Tims might just also be dead, but March, he has the false promise. He may commit here, but no, he does not. And March, you don't want to die like this. You just bought back. But Savage is not going to let him get out of here for free. KP asking him to not ruin his hiding spot right now. He is very scared of Among Us. So KP will at least be able to hide. But a very unfortunate set of events for TnC as they just walk in one by one and get punished every single time.
And that's what they have to, that's what they have to watch out for. Being split apart as a team, they need to execute together. The supports are so key to winning those team fights that you actually don't want to lose Tims or March. If you have to play forward, it has to be KP. I think his hero is the one that you will have to sacrifice as the pawn to make sure everyone else gets the openings they want. So, got to watch that spacing for TnC still. Progress being made. Armel with that space used has a BKB ready on the Magnus. So you can't break his blink in. He will, for the most part, find the opportunities to get the RP. Static Storm alone is not going to be enough. Have to be cautious about that if you're Among Us. It's a big tool for TnC to just get the initiation they want consistently now.
As you can see on the graph right now, Among Us, they have had the net worth lead for pretty much the whole game. It has been a bit back and forth, but right now leading by 2k net worth, and that is a quick Aghanim Scepter from Jabs. Just rushed it.
Yeah, he was given a lot of space by his team to get that done. Now they've got some utility. There's some saves here that Jabs can play with, and it's something TnC has to be a bit aware of. There are ways of playing that defensively and offensively. You could use it to spit Savage on top as well. So opportunities have opened up for Among Us, but you can see TnC, they had that BKB, they want to smoke and try to make it work.
It's going to be awkward timing though if they get a good jump in with that Ags. Like if you maybe spit Cuckoo out or even 23savage in the right position, it could come across as a pretty big surprise for TnC, as I don't think they'll be expecting that Aghanim Scepter on the Snapfire to be up. It is just very unusual to make the Ags rush.
Top tower is under attack.
Still TnC, they're going to avoid the team fight for now and go up towards the top lane. See if they can secure a free tier 1 tower. But Fnatic, or excuse me, rather Among Us, have smoked up.
Is under attack.
Because the name tags haven't changed yet, John. And we might see the gobble up. It's Among Us. Vince back is going to be there onto Tony. He will enrage immediately. Now the gobble up onto Arbet. Straight onto Tony Stark. But Arbet going to jump around. Savage looking for a chrono attempt. They're going to focus down Tim's on the Tiny. And Arbet is going to be able to clean him up. Now Savage still moving forward, knowing they are trying to TP out, is looking for some more stragglers. And March, well, he's going to try and TP, but there will be a glimpse out from our Disruptor. And March is going to be stuck in the tree line to try and figure this one out. But he cannot. He is going to go down, and they found another. KP stuck in the Static Storm. 23savage is not going to allow Whitemon to go down. He'll take the kill for himself. And it'll be a 3 for nothing.
Yeah, they used that reveal really well. So you had Abed just bouncing around, getting spat forward, blinks away. It gets pretty confusing as to where you need to be when you've got that much mobility, and that timing is perfect. Roshan up, second Rosh for the game, Aegis Cheese. It doesn't even last that long. It's just gone.
Another great Roshan out for Among Us.
I think.
Aegis onto Arbet. Savage will hold the cheese for himself on the Void. They're still looking very, very good here for Among Us.
Yeah.
You look at Tony Stark right now on that Ursa, John. He has not really had a good game. His farm has been very, very, I want to say average, to be honest with you. It hasn't been spectacular.
No, it definitely hasn't. I'd say in the context of this game, slightly subpar is a pretty decent point for it. I mean, he's right beside Cuckoo, who has been sacrificial, right? He's been the player for Among Us that just stands in front, dies first, and he's barely matching that form. He's barely ahead of it, so it's not where you want to be as the Ursa. We were expecting Flash form with the Empower, but it hasn't been showing up. He is rushing the Abyssal on the Ursa, so you're going to have mobility there, but you're still concerned about the Chrono. There's a disarm up on Cuckoo as well. So the Heaven's Halberd is going to stop a lot of that burst damage that Tony Stark wants to bring out. Even Armel might be caught unaware by it still. TnC, they've been sitting on that RP and the BKB for a while. They're going to try to smoke up to find a kill.
Will. Of course, all props to Tony Stark. He did just have to come in last minute, so I don't exactly blame him for the farming right now. Of course, it is very, very hard to gel with the team when you literally just joined a couple minutes ago. They are going to group up, smoked up. They know that the Dire jungle is occupied by Among Us, but that smoke is going to wear off, and it is becoming very, very obvious that the smoke was happening.
Radiant are scanning.
Still KP going to show himself now. Tim's going to make a jump onto Arbet, but there's Savage going onto that Tiny. There's your Gobbler. The RP going to be cancelled by the hoof stomp from Cuckoo. No, he misses the RP. And Tim's is already gone. With that RP gone, they are just going to go for the team fight, and Savage gets a two-man chrono up with the kisses to fly in, and Among Us, they are dominating the side of TnC. They're making it look easy, John. They are making it look very, very easy.
Oh, they really are. Jabs and Cuckoo. The timing on the spit. I mean, that's just the most perfect spit timing you could ask for. In the middle, the stop to break the RP. And, you know, when you're smashing R to get it off before a stun, it can pull through that stun. So unfortunate for Armel not finding that opening. That's the BKB reveal. That was the 10-second charge. Doesn't amount to what you'd want it to, and all of a sudden Among Us 21-13, 10k lead. They can start sieging that high ground. They still have the cheese ready to go. They've still got a lot of options. They don't have Chrono, but they can melt these towers fast.
They definitely can with that Deso up, and of course Savage is already hitting so darn hard. Still got that cheese on Savage. Tim's, he trying to go for the toss back, but gets a creep. And that'll be enough for Among Us. They take the tier 3. They'll just retreat back to safety. Time to farm up some tier 3 items for themselves, I think. And see what are they up to. They're gonna try and re-invade this.
Oh,
Savage gets thrown onto the cliff, and now BKB is up. I'm not sure this is where he wants to be. Tony Stark is controlling him, but Savage is now gonna try and fight back up against the Ursa. He'll time walk away. They'll stampede, trying to retreat, but Arbit, he'll go onto Tim's instead. That Tiny gonna melt to the damage of this TA, and now they look to reinitiate. Armel, he had RP in 10 seconds. He just needs more time. March, however, into the Static Storm now. He can't do anything to get out of this and is going to get bursted by Cuckoo. Here comes Tony Stark back into the team fight. Armel's got that RP back up, but Savage, well, he has Chrono in 30 seconds. It's going to be a bit of time, so Armel, he'll jump back in. There's KP taking all the attention away, but Armel cannot find a good RP opportunity. He's still looking for it. Savage does get RP now. There's Tony Stark jumping in front. The avalanche coming out from Tims and Cuckoo, just stunning everyone up. And now the gobble up, the follow-up stun from Jabs into the Mortimer's Kisses. They are melting again under the rain of fire from Jabs. Oh, he's just chain stunning them with the gobble up now, John.
Oh, man, the style to get that kind of save in March. Last one alive, not for long, gonna be punished. Avid gives him the clap.
Oh, Abed's got an ultra.
TnC, Mike, Among Us, they're dancing. These are the top dogs of TnC. The organization that's been on top, ESL1 was very kind to them. And Among Us, 1 week old, the dream team, keeping that dream up.
Jabs, he's got that gobble. He's gonna give Arbit a quick ride.
It just looks so dumb.
It's pretty stupid, John, but it's an Aghanim Scepter upgrade.
The range is ridiculous for the commitment.
Hey, it looks stupid, but Jabs is making it look like the only item Snapfire needs. I mean, he's really, really good with this hero. He's having the time of his life, and what's in classic Jabs fashion, he's offering people water with that sticker. Not many people tend to accept the offer though, which is a bit upsetting. KP, he'll jump in, trying to buy more time. But that Rax is certainly set to go. Armel gonna go for a skewer. Savage, he's got the Chrono again, and Arbit just rips Armel to shreds. There's a gobble up once again, connecting on 2. March can't do anything here, and Savage gonna find another in the form of KB. More stickers being dropped. Jabs has got more cups of water, but the GG has been called. TnC, they lose game 1, and Among Us, John, I hate to say it again, but they made it look easy.
I mean, this was their test, Mike. This is the big team, the top dogs in Group